unacceptable. So people almost she makes it seem here in this letter that it's a often occurrence. People are almost crushed or hit by cars, which is strange. The next day, she emailed Sam Teller, Musk's chief of staff. The safety team leaders were failing to address the hazards. I know it can keep a person up at night regarding safety, she wrote. I must tell you, I can sleep here at Tesla. I just can't sleep with the current safety conditions. So, she said she never heard back then, surprisingly. Surprise, surprise. She never heard back from Musk's office. She transferred departments and quit a couple of months later, disillusioned. In her March 2017 resignation letter, White recounted the time she told her boss, Seth Woody, that the plant layout was extremely dangerous to pedestrians. Wood, head of her safety team, told her that Elon didn't want signs, anything yellow, like caution tape, or to wear safety shoes in the plant, and acknowledged it was a mess, she wrote. She sent the letter directly to Musk, the head of human resources at the time. No response either, and Woody did not, which was her boss, who acknowledged that this whole situation was a mess, did not even try to push out and go for anything further. You didn't try to ask Elon, talk about it, maybe try and fix it or something like that. So anyway, Tesla's officials, they dismissed all of White's concerns, all of them, as unsubstantiated, although they probably had to know the conditions at their own factory. I mean, if they have someone so involved on the factory, they know that they can't stand being in it just because the floors are yellow, and that's their CEO. The floors are, if the floors are yellow, so, if they have someone who's there at the factory that much, they have to realize that this is a bad, bad safety situation. If they're there for a week and they see a person or two people almost crushed by cars, you got the point I'm trying to make is here, they knew what was happening. If they're in the factory that much, there's no way they do not know that those things are happening in the way they're happening. So, before the publication of the story by Reveal, a Tesla spokesman sent a statement accusing Reveal of being a tool in an ongoing unionization drive and portraying a completely false picture of Tesla and what's actually like to work here. And over you, what they portray as investigative journalism, in fact, an ideologically motivated attack by an extremist organization working directly with union supporters that created a calculated disinformation campaign against Tesla. So, wow. Tesla spokesman also sent photos of rails and posts in the factory that were painted yellow. Reveal interviewed more than 36 current and former employees and managers who reviewed hundreds of pages of documents. Some workers who spoke to Reveal have supported the unionization effort, while many others, including safety professionals, said they had no involvement. So there's that, and what it seems like is they're very paranoid, because if they get a union in there, they know they're kind of screwed, and they know, wait a minute, we're really not gonna be able to kind of work with them at all if they have a union, because they're gonna start wanting things when they have the power of a union behind them, or at least an effective union. They will be able to actually kind of ask for more stuff, and one of the things they may ask for is painting the walls yellow, or painting the floors yellow, or making some basic caution signs. Oh my god, that would be just incredible. I can't even comprehend it. What more do you want? Beeps on the forklift to let them know a 5-ton machine is backing up? Are you kidding? Yeah, so on the one hand, Tesla boasts of state-of-the-art machinery that makes it like working for Iron Man, as one former employee described it. On the other, the company relied on hoists that weren't engineered or inspected beforehand to lift heavy car parts, according to a former safety team member, resulting in repeated accidents. So, these are uninspected things that are supposed to hoist giant car parts up high into the sky, and they could pretty much break at any moment. So, how is that it's good, safe working conditions here? I just don't get it. It's the thing about working for Iron Man just shows you what an incredible, obnoxious ego this man has. Oh my god. Yeah, so the company is under immense pressure to ramp up manufacturing of the new Model 3 sedan, the first mass market vehicle at $35,000. Musk initially said Tesla would be producing 20,000 of them per month by the end of 2017, but the company just missed its scaled back promise to produce half that number. So Tesla's often in a state of pretty much frenzied production, and that means fast, and that means going fast and producing a lot with things that are not very safe, like, for example, those hoists we just talked about that have not really been fully inspected. Former employees say they face 12-hour workdays, faulty equipment, and paltry training as they scramble to come up with the workarounds on the fly to get cars out the door. The hustle meant the health and safety protocols could literally get left in the dust. Last year, constructions, or maybe the bone dust when a car comes flying out of like 100-foot off the hoist that's like 100 feet high in the air and just crushes you, like, that's going to mean some pretty much dust, and that's probably where the health and safety are. But here's the actual dust that we're going to be talking about. Last year, construction workers cut through concrete to build the new Model 3 assembly line, spreading silica dust, which can cause cancer, without containing and testing it first. Rick Maiden and two other former members of the health and safety team said. So they're pretty much putting their employees at risk of cancer. Despite the high stakes for life and limb, the safety professionals maintain the safety training has been woefully inadequate. The company said all workers receive at least 4 days of training, but new employees often were pulled out of the training early to fill spots on the factory floor. Wait, another former safety team member said, and I got for more than 4 days of training before I went out to like first start rowing. I'm like, you probably don't know this, but like I'm actually like learning how to be part of a crew team at the moment. I'm trying to like get my crew skills in order. And when I first joined, like, was it a month ago or so, I got more than 4 days of training. Like that's the insane thing, and it seems they got less than 4 days of training. So yeah, team members were reluctant to speak to reporters, but they first agreed to in order to help improve conditions for current and future Tesla workers. Some asked to remain anonymous for the fear of reprisal or hurting their careers. All right, so in an interview, and this is a real title here, Tesla Chief People Officer Gabby Toledano, who joined the company, may repeatedly question the motives of former health and safety professionals who suggested they might have been failing at their own job here. Toledano touted the hiring in October of Lori Shelby as Tesla's first vice president for environment, health, and safety as an improvement in itself. So they actually hired a president or a vice president for this. Anyone who walks through our doors in this factory is our responsibility, and we care about them. Shelby formerly first safety vice president, formerly safety vice president and aluminum manufacturing at Alcoa, is an aluminum manufacturing company. I have a passion for safety, and it's about caring. So she says, so it sounds good, but also sounds like something like a White House press secretary would say. It's like, we all care about you, and we love, like pretty much her job is like to lie for a living. Like she needs to portray the image that this is a safe place to work, and that's pretty hard to do. If you look at some of the reports from former and current, even current employees here, and just. It's not all it's not all hunky dory, just to say the least. So Tesla disputed each of Reveal's findings. The company, and this is to be fair, this is the to be fair section of this report. The company said that it had no information that workers were exposed to silica dust. It said while some hoists did fall and injure workers, it was not due to a lack of engineering or inspectors, and they have been improved. So Toledano and Shelby said they had never heard of Musk reported aesthetic preferences and pointed out the factory does have some yellow. Both distanced themselves from what might have happened before their respective tenures. So not all injured workers have given up on Tesla either. Dennis Cruz has had his share of injuries, but he still wants to get back on the production line. At one point, out on workers' compensation because of the work-induced tendinitis, Cruz ended up living in his car, unable to afford rent. Then, in late 2016, a toxic adhesive many workers complain about got into his eye, damaging his cornea. And in September, as a quality inspector Cruz says he put out a fire that broke out on a car body, inhaling fumes from the burning chemicals, which is not great. Cruz, he's now 42 years old, probably a father. Yeah, he is a father. He's on light duty as he struggles with shortness of breath, coughing spells, and headaches, but he wants to provide for his family, apply his skills, and get promoted. And I can't do that on workers' comp. I can't do that away from the factory. That's why I pushed to go back. I pushed to go back into the fire. So, I mean, that's his decision, but it seems like there should be some kind of movement for better rights here at Tesla, just based on what we've seen. And, I mean, there's only one really way to settle this for Tesla. If they say, oh, the people who come in here are the people who come and leave here as former safety engineers, they're pretty biased. Well, have an independent investigator come in, someone who's qualified and someone who really knows their stuff, and is not under the influence of Tesla or even the workers, although pretty hard for them to really get influence of independent investigator. Just have someone independently come in and review the scenario, see what's going on here, and really come to a conclusion of, are things okay? Like, is it really up to snuff here? Tesla's internal injury tracking system, a supervisor wrote, Tesla's internal injury tracking system, a supervisor wrote that a worker couldn't come to work one day in February 2017 because his left arm was in pain from installing wiper motors during a shift. One worker fainted and hit his head on the floor because, and this is a direct quote here, team member was working in a group setting and became uncomfortably hot. Another employee, a supervisor noted, was highly relied on at this workstation, but injured her shoulder from repetitive motion due to an unfriendly ergonomic process. So Tesla is required by law to report every work-related injury that results in days away from work, job restrictions, or medical treatment beyond first aid, as we know. But those injuries were labeled personal medical cases, meaning work had nothing to do with them. So they weren't counted when Tesla tallied its injuries on its legally mandated report. So they skirted that. They made the company appear way safer than it actually was. So, yeah, I mean, the list of the uncounted injuries here goes on. One worker had back spasms when reaching for boxes. One sprained her back carrying something to a work table, and got a pinch in his back from bending over to apply a sealer and couldn't walk off of pain. By law, if something at work contributed to an injury, even if work wasn't the only cause, the injury must be counted. That's just by law. Like, sure, it's maybe a little bit unfair. Maybe it's something pre-existing with the person and Tesla doesn't want to report it, but it's the law. It's literally the law. So you need to be able to, you really need to be able to fix, you really need to be able to do this. It's something that if you don't have, I mean, what really are you doing? So, a former Tesla safety professional, however, said the company systematically undercounted injuries by mislabeling them. I saw injuries like broken bones and lacerations. They were saying not recordable as injuries. And the safety professionals who asked him, said the safety professional who asked to remain anonymous, I saw lots of stuff that was like, wow, this is crazy. Reveal compared records from Tesla's internal tracking system obtained from a source with the official logs, which were requested by an employee and provided to Reveal. For a dozen examples provided to the company Reveal, Tesla stood by its decision not to count them. It said workers may have thought they were injured because of their jobs, and supervisors may have assumed the same. But later, Tesla said a medical professional, sometimes contacted or affiliated with the company, determined there was no connection to work. I feel very strongly, Shebley said, we're doing proper record keeping here at Tesla. So Reveal also provided Tesla's internal descriptions of the injuries, along with the company's case-by-case response to Doug Parker, executive director at WorkSafe, who's an Oakland-based organization that provides previously analyzed Tesla's official injury logs. The examples you've given me are concerning, troubling, he said. They suggest that Tesla isn't reporting all the workplace injuries that they should be reporting. So he's WorkSafe, He's at WorkSafe. Doug Parker is. He's an independent executive director there, and he